had this channel going for a little bit now. I've been uploading every week. I appreciate every single one of you that have been watching and following me and subscribed. A little bit about me is this year I bought a house in Henderson, Kentucky. And this year has been the most, how do I say this? It's been the most successful, in a way, year of my life. Those of you that don't know, I struggled with addiction for like a good 6 years. I'm 6 years clean now. As of this 4th of July weekend, I'll be 6 years clean off of that crap that I was doing. That was real bad for me. But I just want to encourage everybody out there, if you're having a problem with addiction, or if you know somebody that has, I've been through it, man. I've been through it. I've been in the lowest lows, been hungry, no money for food. I was a very good functioning drug addict because I always held a job, but I was always struggling. I have to give a big shout out to my dad because he helped me through a lot of it. My mom helped me through a lot of it. I went to rehab for a year, just about a year, and got back out, and that didn't help me much. It was pretty rough. It was a Christian-based rehab. You went, you couldn't have no phone, couldn't have no radio, no TV unless it was Christian TV. It was pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. I stuck it out for a year. I chose to go. Things fell apart there. I came back home about 11 months in, I think. This has been a while now, but came back home and it didn't take long. I got back into the wrong crowd. So tip number one is change the people you're around. The people you're around is probably the biggest thing that's going to help you out from the very beginning. They'll draw you right back in so quick and they don't even mean to, and you think they're your friends and you think they're your buddies because that's who you've been with so long, and really that's probably the people you need to get away from. And it's the hardest thing to do too, is getting rid of the people that are closest to you in a way, but they're good bad friends in a way, because yeah, some of them will be there for you. Mine were there for me if I needed them. That's just hands down. But I had to get away from them, even though they were there for me, they were hurting me. I'm trying my hardest to put this video out because this is a tough one and this is a tough subject for a lot of people. I got a few tips for you guys if you're trying to get better. Loved ones, I just want you to know, ones that know somebody that's struggling, you can only do so much for somebody, okay? They're going to have to want to do it for themselves. You can't force them to do anything. And the best thing you can do is be there and support them, especially if they all of a sudden need it. I mean, if you really care about them and you're like a loved one, like a son or a daughter, the best thing you can do is be there for them in the time of need. You can't force nothing on them. I want to tell you that right now. You cannot force something on them. Even if they've done you dirty, even if they've done you wrong, if they truly seem like they're trying to come around and they're trying to do better, don't push them out. As hard as it may be. And I know this may be hard to hear, but do your best not to push them out and don't drag them down when they're coming in. Support them if they really are trying to do better. Now that's the thing, they need to be trying to do better. If they're coming in and they're not that mindset, I understand. But if there's somebody that's trying to get better, you need to be there for them. Be there to support them, encourage them. Don't push them to do something they don't want to do, but encourage them. So the way that I got better after going a year into rehab, coming out, falling off again for another few years, I had to do it on my own. I had to realize that I was tired of living that way, that I was ready to change my lifestyle. I've always had God on my heart. I'm a Christian. I've always been a believer, even in my time of addiction. I've always been that way. And I didn't want to be in my addiction, but it's addiction. It just tears you up. It'll get right into your soul. Have you doing things that you never thought you'd do. And even in that time, I would still pray, God, please bring me out of this. And for years, I was in it. And I'd have my moments where I'd try to do better for a little bit. What really got it for me was I was managing at a restaurant. I was a lead cook and a manager. Like I said, I was always able to hold a good job. My boss was talking to me out back. We were taking a break and smoking a cigarette. and I was like trying to explain something to her, and the words wouldn't come out of my mouth because my brain was starting to get so fried. The words would not come out. I knew what I wanted to say, but I could not say it. It was like I was stuttering so hard I could not get the words to roll off my tongue. It was crazy. That moment, I just felt so embarrassed because I knew she knew something was up. So I'm not telling you guys to do this, but for me, what I did is I told my boss. I told my boss I had a problem and I was working on it, and I was now making a decision to do better. And so I got some people, some good people to have and to help support me that weren't going to tear me down. I didn't lose my job. I was good at my job, but low key I had a problem, and low key she knew something was up, but I did my job. I was good at it. Always moved up in the ranks. I've always been. So after I told her, I went and got a gym membership down the road to a gym. I went to Planet Fitness, but you can go anywhere. So this is another really big tip. You got to change your routine up. I was closing that store every night a lot of times as manager, getting there, counting all the money. I had a lot of responsibility, and then I would leave, and the first thing I would do is hit up my guy to try to go get some stuff. Then I'd go home and I'd smoke it, and it wasn't weed. I was on K2 real bad, and I would get zonked out, couldn't talk to you, couldn't tell you what was going on so bad, and I'd wake up, come back, 2 hits some more. It was a non-stop cycle. I was burning myself up, killing my brain, and I decided I needed to change my routine. So what did I do different? I took a different route home. I avoided going around the people that could supply to me. I got a gym membership. I started going straight to the gym after work and working out instead of going and getting high. I worked out hard every single night for like 2 years straight. But I'll tell you right now, them first couple months of quitting cold turkey were miserable. I ended up calling my mom and dad. I told them what I was doing. I told my mom, I was like, I really need some Benadryl. Benadryl helped take that sick, twisted stomach, sweating. It helped relieve some of that. I would take a couple Benadryl, lay down, and it helped me get through the withdrawals. The withdrawals on that crap was terrible. I mean, it had lasted for a while. The first 2 months, like I said, were the hardest because it took me that long to get to where I could eat normal again without being high, where I could kind of get to sleep normal, to where I started slowly feeling better in my head. But I think it took a total of 3 months before my head felt cleared up. I felt like I had spider webs in my head. My biggest thing that helped me was getting the gym membership, going and working out instead of getting high, changing my route to go home, avoiding the route that I used to take, and really having the want to stop. And it was tough, man. It was tough because you have good days and you have bad days, and you have to learn to deal with them bad days without getting high. So I would just go to the gym and I would run. I would start with a good little warm-up run, and then I would go hit some weights, and then I started making myself a plan in the gym every night or every other night that I could go. I would do legs one night, arms one. I started making myself a little plan. I started taking protein and I started taking vitamins. That was the big kicker for me. And then once I finally got clean, I just didn't want to go back to that lifestyle. But there's a big but here. I've never really told anybody this, so this is coming out live. So this is something nobody has heard. And so if you've made it this far in the video, you're going to be the one to learn. I got clean in January when I first started getting clean, okay? And then July came around. I'd been clean for about 6 months at this point. And you know, this is 6 years ago, so I'm giving you roundabouts because I don't know the exact day. But I know sometime in the middle of January, I quit. I decided to just quit and just start rolling the next day, take it a day at a time. In July 4th, there was a 4th of July party. It's getting ready to be July now. That's why I said I'm about 6 years clean, for a fact. Old buddy that I used to get stuff from, he used to be my dealer, wanted to come hang out, and we were drinking some beer and watching the fireworks, having a good time. And that led me to going to his house later on that night after fireworks show he was out back and he was smoking that crap. And everything in me knew not to do it. But I ended up going back there and asking him if I could hit it. You know, he's like, no, this stuff's real strong. You can't have a whole hit, but you can hit the end of this. Y'all, I hit a bowl of that crap that night. That wasn't even fresh. It was like burnt up already. So I didn't think nothing was going to happen. After being 6 months off of that stuff, it lit my world up. I blacked out. I went into a dreamlike state, and I'll never forget it. I thought I was stuck in hell, y'all. I thought I was dying. And I very well could have. My heart could very well have stopped. There's no telling. But I remember being stuck, and it was like I was trying to count 1, 2, 3, and it was like an eternity count of being stuck. And it was not a hell like I was on fire. But it was the worst kind of feeling that I could ever explain that I've ever experienced. And it scared me straight. As soon as I finally came out of my little deal, he was patting me on the back, telling me to breathe, to breathe, to breathe. And I remember kind of coming back to. He said, here, take a drink of some water. And it was, I still remember, it was scary, it was rough. And what I ended up doing that night was a real dumb decision, but I decided I wanted to leave. And I wanted to be home, and I wanted to be out of the situation. And so, like I said, I'd been drinking, and I just really wanted to be out of that situation. I was just like, God, I got to get out of here. I've been doing so good, and I felt so much regret for what I did. So what I ended up doing is I drove home, and home was only a couple miles away, honestly, maybe 4 miles down the road in town, you know. So yeah, I drove home, even though I shouldn't have, and a sheriff followed me on my way home. Scared me straight. I took the side road, and luckily he kept going straight. I didn't get pulled over that night. I could have lost everything I had going for me that night over one stupid decision. I was so lucky that never happened. I made it home, got myself in bed. In the next few days, my head was back to where it kind of was, with that brain fog feeling. Like I knew I messed up. I knew I hurt myself. And that right there was the eye-opener for me to be done for life. Since then, I have not touched that stuff. I have not at all touched it. I've been completely sober as of July the 4th, and life has completely changed since I made that decision for myself. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get on a long speech. I'm not trying to tunnel away from and get off subject for, you know, my tips for you. But that's my story for you right there, which may be more important than a silly little tip. Understanding what I went through and how much I wanted to be better. So tip number 3 is you gotta want it. You gotta want to be better. It's not just gonna happen. You gotta want it. If you're out here running and gunning and you don't care, you don't want it, you're gonna be stuck where you're at, buddy. You gotta want it. Family members, you gotta understand, they gotta want it. If they don't want it, it's just, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing, unfortunately. You can't force them. I kind of had my hand forced in rehab in a sense. And I did kind of want it then, but I wasn't fully to the point where, like, yeah, I want this. I really want this sober lifestyle. So tip number 3, you got to want it. Tip number 4 is got to be the Benadryl. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but Benadryl really helped me get through some of my withdrawals. And, you know, I'm not saying take a whole bunch, but I took 2 Benadryl on my worst days just to help calm me down, help make me feel better. And that stuff actually, that really worked for me, especially with the drug that I was doing. I just had found a Reddit forum or something online trying to find something to help because I was miserable. And so Benadryl really helped me. And I don't want you to go substitute, start taking a whole bunch of Benadryl. I don't think it's a drug like that, but it definitely helps with the withdrawal. At least it did for me. So maybe give that a try if you're somebody that's going through what I'm going through, 6 years ago, trying to get back normal. It'll be 6.5 years ago. 6.5 years ago is whenever I actually went through all that, and then I had the hiccup on the 4th. Number 5, stay around your family when you're doing good. Once you start getting better, stick around your family, stick around your loved ones, kids, your nephews, your nieces. Start showing up for things. Start showing up for church if you can. Understand that's not everybody's cup of tea. But yeah, around the ones that matter to you most once you start feeling better, if you can get to that point. That's going to help you stay where you need to be. And take it a day at a time. One day at a time. Just don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about your past. Don't worry about, a big thing that was hard for me is worrying about people that were like, they were watching me. I felt like, even though I knew I'd been clean for 6 months at this point now, or whatever the time may be, I've been clean for that long. You can take a drink, yeah? That was a big thing for me, is I knew I was good. But because I had a problem for so long, people, I could tell, even though some wouldn't admit it, would still look at me a little crooked, wondering if I was really clean or not. And you always get that feeling. You'll get that feeling for a long time. I'm finally to a point where I don't really feel like I get that feeling anymore. I'm around the family a lot. I watch my nephews all the time. I'm pretty active. I have a job over the road 5 days a week. I bought a house. I got a brand new, or a really nice Tundra. It was almost brand new. I got it last Christmas, and then this year I got the house. So I've completely went from nothing to something in a couple years of hard work and staying sober. And I mean, it's been 6 years total now, but it really, the last couple of years, my life has completely changed. I've worked my way up slowly over the years, got better, focused on the job that I had for a couple of years and moved on to a new one. And I'm finally in a position now where I like what I do. I do hate not being home. I really eventually want to get out of the truck. I wish I could do YouTube full time and make money enough to pay for the house and the truck and just live a good life without having to be out on the road. But that's long-term goals. I'm trying to be a little bit of an entrepreneur. I'm always thinking of the next big idea. But that's where I'm at now in life, is trying to figure out the next move. Because I've been doing nothing but climbing the ladder from here, and I want to continue to do that. So my message to you guys is to keep on keeping on. I know this is a long talk, and this is heavy on my heart to share this, because this is not my content that I've been putting out. I've been putting out yard videos, family videos. But I realize that some of you people probably don't know where I came from and don't realize how much of a different me this is than the me that I was a few years ago. People don't recognize the me a few years ago at this point. It's sad and crazy to think about where I was at. I say a few years, 6 years is a few years ago. Time flies. Every year gets faster and faster. So you're better off fixing everything now and stop putting it off. Now is a great time. It's summertime. You can get out, you can do stuff, you can get to the gym, you can get active. You don't have to go to the gym. Find a different hobby, whatever it is. Find something that's going to change your focus, change up your routine, change up your route, change up your friends. Find you some support people, ones that truly care for you. The thing is the guys that I ran with, one of them was my best freaking friend. And I still contact him to this day to see how he's doing, but we're not like we used to be. But he was my running buddy too. We were doing everything together. But he was my best friend, and he would have been there for anything that I needed. So that's what I call a good bad friend. You have some good friends and some good bad friends. They're good people, but they got bad intentions for you. And maybe you're both the good bad friend for each other. You got bad intentions, both of y'all, even though y'all are good people or whatever. It's the people that you gotta get away from. It's the routines that you gotta get away from. You gotta literally flip your life upside down for a few months and then make that the new normal. Anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you got something out of this. I hope this edit comes together good, because I'm all over the place trying to explain things. You guys have a blessed day. If you got something out of this and you made it this far, please consider liking. Send me a comment too. Let me know that you got something out of this, because that right there means the world to me, just knowing that I helped somebody. So yeah, if you wouldn't care, just send a comment or hit that thumbs up button because you like the video. You don't even have to say nothing. You don't have to put yourself out there if you don't want to. And as always, there's a subscribe button if you want to hit it and want to follow me, because I'm still not sure where I'm at on my YouTube journey. I haven't niched down. I've got fishing videos. I've got family videos. I've got a lot of lawn videos. I like the lawn videos, but I like being able to do what I want. So, I just appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to get out of here. I am now at my sister's house. I've been sitting here for a minute. We are going out to the pool to celebrate 4th of July. Boys have been shooting fireworks off in front of me. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out of here.